they give you this parts list, and it is very basic. Shows a couple pictures of crap, and it says on it, tutorial video. Scan with your iPhone camera or use QR code reader app for Androids. Okay, well guess what? This video is unavailable. Trash. AXP Racing, Moose Racing, you suck. You know, this isn't hard to figure out at all. But not everybody is mechanically inclined. This is my review of the AXP Racing skid plate for the CRF300. Honda CRF300. I have not used this. I just installed it today. So, I can't speak to the sturdiness of it. But what I can show you is how they are basically assembled or whatever. So this is actually separated. It's separated here, but it's not separated further down. There is like a plastic weld process that they use. So that's whole right there, but it's, you can see it goes all the way up to here, and that's where it's separated. That is where it's separated. Get the focus there. And they basically do like some sort of plastic weld process or whatever. I'm not crazy about seeing two pieces of separated plastic. I can say that much. But that, see, they lay like a, there's like a plastic weld type of deal. They burn it or whatever. Run a hot knife type of deal or something through it. Don't know. So we will see how that holds up. Now the fitment of this skid plate is pretty bad. And I can tell you why. And AXP, if you're listening, I shouldn't have to design your product for you. Same goes for the rear rack that I have a video on. I shouldn't have to finish your product for you. So this comes with a couple little, I don't know what you want to call them. They're not spacers, but they're steel inserts that go in to the hole, the cutouts in the plate, in the plastic. So these actually have a little neck to them and about a 1/4 inch of metal that seats into this, you know, to the back. It comes flush with the back side. And what I believe it is that the cutouts in the plastic, they're too tight. They need to cut them out a little bit larger. Not much, just a little bit larger, so that you have a little bit of wiggle room with that insert. That little bit of wiggle room would let that insert tilt just the slightest bit for when you're trying to fit this whole thing up. So like everybody says, you need to put the back first. Put the back on first, back here, with the two little black pieces of spacer. There's two little black spacers. Get up there, you can see a little bit of the spacer there. Right there. Okay? So you put that back there, and what you should do is use a floor jack to put this up here a little bit and keep it up. I'm good with this kind of stuff. It wasn't that big a deal at all for me. But you got to get a spacer on each side here, you know. One over here behind the plate and over the bolt. So you fit those up and just don't even snug them up. Just get a couple threads in on both and then come to the front, and then you have to deal with trying to align up the holes. So there's the cast, or the welded on nut that you're going into. Trying to align everything up was the bitch of the bunch. This one went in fine, but then this one, like, it felt rough, and I don't like that. I'm not going to force a bolt ever. It felt like I was having to force it, and I kept loosening this one up and pulling the plate over, and you got to push the plate in a lot to get your thread started. So you got to be pushing it in and get the thread started with the Allen key. And I think if there was a little bit of wiggle room with that spacer, it wouldn't be so rigid. You would have just a little bit of side-to-side play for that bolt to be going into its place, you know, straight, instead of trying to go in there canted to one side somewhat or whatever. So I think they need to, I actually had to take a round file through these holes just to get the insert to go in to the plastic, because it was too tight. I could have tapped them with a hammer and got them in there, but it was really, really tight. I think it needs a little bit of play in it. For the price, these are over $100. I think just like the rear rack, it's overpriced. This is a piece of plastic, and the fitment is poor. These edges are sharp, so they don't contour this edge at all. Just like the rear rack, you're getting a really sharp edge here. So I didn't even think about that putting this guy on. I'm gonna have to come through here with my Dremel and just bevel all these edges, these sharp edges here. That won't be too bad. I'm just worried about right here and on the other side. But yeah, AXP needs to put the finishing touches on their parts, and need to listen to the customers that they're not listening to, because everybody's complaining about this stuff. Finish your parts. Part of making a part is deburring a part. That's your job. You're charging a customer for an unfinished part. Work out your fitment issues. And I think you need, if you don't do that, you definitely need to lower the price. AXP. I'm not as aggravated about this because I got it fit. You know, I got it on. But I did end up having to, like, you know, kind of put that final bolt in with a little too much, what the hell do I want to say? I felt like I could be cross-threading the damn thing to get it on, and that shouldn't be. So get that figured out. Lower the price on your stuff, because this is too much for plastic parts. So far, I'm pleased enough with this, but I do think it's too expensive for what it is. Just like the rear rack.